Badger Show. We've got a fun loadout for you on this Monday. After all, we got a case of the Monday, so we're going to break it down and give you some good news. So first up, she going to do what now? We're going to check out what Mexico thinks they're threatening us with and just show like it's like a toddler threatening a full-grown adult. And everyone's in debt. We're going to look at that debt. How much of that debt do you owe? How much of it is yours? And what that really means for us. Talk about debt just a little bit. Try to make it fun. Try to make it lighthearted and without digging down too much. And then, do you got gold or coin? And why is it important to the U.S. debt regarding how much gold we have and what Trump may be intending to do with it? Let's dig in. The Mexican president says U.S. military will not fight drug cartels on its soil. So Trump made an executive order basically saying we're going to designate the cartels as military combatants and we're going to go spank them like the redheaded stepchild they are. We got to get that gingivitis out, guys. And with that, the president of Mexico made a retort to the world basically saying that doing such would be an invasion by the U.S. Just got to ask you, I'm looking at you. What you going to do about it? Really, like what are you going to do about it? Half your country or over half of your country is controlled by the cartels. If we go attack the cartels, are we really attacking a sovereign nation or legit rebel freedom fighters and basically destroying and doing your job for you? That's what we will be doing. And case in point, what are you going to do about it? Okay, so what we have here on the left, see this big tall? That's our U.S. military budget. $1 trillion. You don't make that in a year. Mexico's way, way down here. That's 12 billion. That's 12 billion. Look at that. Isn't that cute? That's cute. The CIA has 19 billion. Oh, we can't really see these numbers. Here, let's not even look at the US military. They're busy in Ukraine and doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. No harm in the military. Love the military family. Just pointing out that we should keep our people here. We want the military to stay home and protect the homeland. So if we exclude the U.S. military and just say, hey, let's use what we have currently in the U.S. to go fight our own little battle with the cartels. Here's the CIA. That's what they have on the books. We know legitimately they have way more than that. They have approximately 40 billion that they have a slush fund that they were using in USAID. FBI comes in at 11 million. That might be kind of a fair fight. Maybe we'll use the FBI. But of course, the Border Patrol now has 26 billion. So I guess the FBI can come in, smack the military around, then tag in Border Patrol in here, and Border Patrol would just smash the Mexican military. Our Border Patrol will destroy the Mexican military. Think about that. Yeah. You smelling what I'm putting down, President whatever your name is, because you're not even important. Shalom, whatever your name is. Nobody cares. You're a communist. And we do have the U.S. Marshals. Maybe they can use to take some pot shots at them. This is our internal budget, folks, for our police force or federal police force. What are you going to do again? Like, make empty threats? Because that's all you have. That's literally all you have. All right. Do something that's not too great, but want to point out how much debt is going around right now. The reason I want to point that out is because we are probably entering a debt crisis here in the next, we're in 2025. I would say in the next 10 years at most. A lot of people are looking at 2030. Given Project 2030, or what is it, the 2030? Yeah, I think it's Project 2030 that the world leaders are trying to get enacted. Just want to point out here, this is the trillions of dollars in debt. This big blue circle, you can guess, is mortgage debt. An insane amount. I believe it's $13 trillion just floating around in here. Mortgage debt is what some financial gurus call good debt or healthy debt. I can prove that that's not entirely true as long as you're buying it in the course of you understand how long you're going to hold it and whatnot. We won't get into that unless you're interested in the comments. Saying, hey, break that out. When is it good debt? When is it bad debt? I could show that with actual facts, not, oh, all debt is good debt or all debt is bad debt. No, it's much more nuanced. We all know that. Home equity client, a HELOC. Nobody cares. Student debt. Now, student debt and auto debt, these are almost identical. They're 1.6 trillion. Students, there's a lot of TikTok sensations going on about, oh, got $90,000 of debt and a 17% interest. Yeah, you should go slap your mama and your daddy for that, because they should have told you, or you should have contacted your mama and daddy. If you weren't estranged from them, you leftist liboid. Calm down. Calm down. You should go back to your estranged mommy and daddy and talk to them and let them explain to you how time value of money works. Yeah, when you don't pay or you put the minimum on your credit card debt, let's do really simple for the simple-minded folks, okay? So all you blue hairs out there, I'm talking to you. Let's say you get $1,000 on your credit card, or you take $1,000 loan out, okay? Okay, you with me? $1,000. Keep the number simple. Let's say the interest rate is 10%. So each year, you're going to be paying in interest, essentially tacking on $100 on that. 10% of 1,000 is 100. Making it simple? Good. Let's say, however, that your monthly payment is $5. What does that equate to? That equates to $60 a year you're paying down on a interest rate that is increasing your actual debt by $100 a year. I know time value of money, for the people out there that understand that, get it. So you are paying not enough to actually pay down the principal or what you actually owe. Somebody should have taught you this. If you were not, that is why we need to get rid of the Department of Education, because they're not doing their jobs. You get me? You got me? It sucks. Too bad. Man, for those of you screaming right now saying it's not fair, type down in the comments how much you hate me, and I'll do a whole expose about why you're an idiot, and we can go forward with that. Auto debt, again, same speech for that. Like, do I really need to explain that? Credit card debt. This is the scarier one. Credit card debt, revolving debt, I believe is around, if I remember, 1.3 trillion, which is an insane amount. Credit card debt has been continually increasing, but just the last quarter, it's actually decreased, which is a good sign. But again, guys, I know we're all feeling it out there. Everything's kind of wavy. Hang in there. We've got a little bit more longer to go. I'm hoping the credit card debt will continue to decline and we see more and more savings. We did see savings tick up year over year, which is a good sign that people are able to hold on a little bit of their money. They're able to hold on longer than living paycheck to paycheck. I hope more people are starting to feel that at least a little bit. We do have longer to go. We did see recently John Deere promise now to invest over $60 million. We did also see Apple saying that, hey, we're coming back to the homeland and starting investing even more. I believe they promised another $100 billion that they're going to invest. Maybe it was $100 million. So type down in the comments, was it billion or million? Something like that. But anyway, regardless, more and more investment is coming here in the United States. More manufacturing jobs will be opened up. I see a lot of rereads in Twitter land, X land, basically saying, oh, but who's going to go back to manufacturing jobs? I would go back. I would go work. I worked for a manufacturing job. I worked a distribution job. Yeah. They pay well. It's a simple job. You go in, it's back-breaking work, and guess what? It's a very good paycheck if you can get a good one and you hang in there and you work your way up the ladder. What's wrong with that? Why do we have to demean manual labor? If you're demeaning manual labor, just come talk to me. I'll knock some sense into you. The reason why this is important is this chart right here. I necroed this chart from a stream. I believe it was stream 8.7. This is the issue, guys. The required salary relative to the median household income. This required salary is what is required to buy a home. This is the median household income. So this is where people are. This is where they need to be to buy a home. This is where people are. This is where we need to be in order to buy a home. Does that make sense? We are nowhere near where we need to be. But I do want to point out, see this ticking down? I'm going to showcase what that is, why it's important in just one moment. Again, this is a critical chart, guys. Where we are, so this is the median household income, and this is actual required salary, according to experts, what you need in order to buy a home. As you can see, we're nowhere near where that is. And that is causing a large issue for a lot of people. All right, for those of you that do not know what's coming and think that you're ready, you ain't ready for it. That ain't real money you got, boyo. I have what's coming. I'll survive. I've got money in the bank. And you think that's real money? It's not. It's fiat. Do you got coin or gold, bro? So the Fed is openly discussing gold revaluation. What this is basically a cheat code for paying off some of our debt. For those of you who have never heard or seen any sort of movie before, Fort Knox, it's not the only place, but it is the largest where we have a lot of our bullion gold reserves here in the United States. We have a metric ton of it. I believe it's 8,133 metric tons in freedom units. That's like 8,000 tons of gold. It's a lot of tons. What this could mean is we're essentially taking that gold that we have that is currently evaluated at the old rate, like really, really old, of like here it is, $42.22 per ounce. Yes, if you could buy that gold right now at $42.22 per ounce right now, you, me, everybody would be scratching our eyeballs out trying to get to it and buy it. They have never reevaluated that all these years from like the 1970s, maybe even older than that, but I believe it was around the Nixon era where we got off the gold standard, which was awful. And since then, we've just kind of pegged it at that. So essentially, the Fed is sitting on this, and we can write them an IOU and say, look, this is an asset class. You now got to apply this to our debt and lower actual how much debt we have. So it's a cheat code. How much of a cheat code? I'm going to show you right now. One quick note. So who's buying gold right now? Russia, China, and India. Japan also, and a little bit in Australia, but we don't really count them. They're just like a little cool island that they have with a lot of freakazoid animals. We haven't been buying any gold, which is really sad. Germany's been selling their gold because, of course, they're falling apart. Russia and China and India. Do we consider them most favored nation partners? No. China is actually trying to be the global world leader and destroy everyone else. Russia, we're in a war with. Proxy war. India, they don't care about anyone but themselves. They want remittances. They want H-1B visas. They want to basically prosper and do what they can for their people at the cost of everyone else. None of these countries like us. None of these countries are our friends, and they're buying gold. Why are they buying gold? Because they know what's coming over the next 10 to 15 years. And if you're not buying some gold or silver, please go do so. Go do so today. Whatever you can, go do it. I'm telling you, these countries are not our friends. They're buying up as much gold as they can. Why? Because they know something is coming and they are getting ready for it. BRICS says what? For those of you who know, you know. So the gold that we actually have in freedom tons is 8,000, which under the old system at $42 an ounce, it equates to 12 billion. Yawn, exactly. What we evaluated at in the current market price, it would equal to $1 trillion. Now we're talking. So realistically, they'll probably evaluate it at, say, 5,000. That would be 1.4 trillion. That's a little something. It's not, not enough to really. Now, reminder, the debt is 37 trillion. We need to get that debt down by about $6 to $7 trillion for us to be really a good 1-to-1 ratio for debt to GDP. That's kind of like where you want to be maximum. Could they do it to 10,000? Maybe. To get it where we actually need it to be, they would have to evaluate gold at 26,000, and they're not going to probably do that. That would pay off all 7 trillion. But could he do 5,000? Absolutely. That's a chunk. It's not enough, but it's a good chunk. He could do 10,000 or somewhere in between, maybe 6, 7. That would at least get us around 2 trillion, which would be a huge chunk. So what is he going to do for the rest of it? I'm glad you asked. This is Trump's secret formula. His secret formula is getting wages up. That's that little green bar that ticked down at the edge of that chart where the wages, the evaluation of the homes are going down because we're deporting a lot of people. That decreases the demand for homes, increasing wages by reducing regulation, damaging inflation, just getting rid of inflation by pumping up energy. So by increasing our energy output, that lowers prices for everything else. That increases GDP. Wages times GDP. Doge, this is the secret weapon. We've talked about this before with rescission packages. So essentially what this does is kind of, I don't want to say line item veto because the president doesn't have a line item veto, but they're able to take specific packages of money that are going out the door for USAID and other BS organizations, other NGOs that are evil, and say, let's throw this back to the Senate for a quick vote and say, let's stop this. They've only done one. It was drop in the bucket of 10 billion, and that's got the point where Musk was so upset they did all this work and none of it's being enacted. There is more push for more of these rescission packages to go through the Senate for a quick vote to get these knocked out. Because again, we kind of control the Senate to be able to push that through and stop some of this money going out the door. And gold that we just talked about. So if you combine all of these together, Trump has a very narrow path to be able to get us through a financial debt crisis. God, I hope so, because it's going to take all of these and more to get it done. That's why Powell is such a beehole, is essentially because that very thing that he hates Trump and he doesn't care about any of us, he's an elitist, and instead of lowering that threshold that Trump needs in order to get through this by cranking up the economy and increasing GDP by lowering the rates, and of course allowing home prices to come down, he is hurting all of us. Powell's got to go. You can't be partisan and in that position, and he is indeed partisan. Another thing on that, for those of you who were smarter than me and bought crypto a long time ago, when I mean crypto, I mean good crypto. Trump admin now moves to let borrowers use crypto in mortgage applications. That is right. That is right. Not only is crypto being opened up to 401kers, that's right. For all you old timers out there watching, you can now get Bitcoin through ETFs. If you can, do it. For those of you that are like, but wait, Mouthy, the 4-year cycle. I know, but the point is you need to get some exposure, right? And it's better to get people's toes in even if the 4-year cycle is coming through. If you don't know about the 4-year cycle, just go look it up. If you're not interested in the 4-year cycle, just know you should buy it today, right now. If you don't, wait 6 months. That's all I'm saying. That'll kind of get you a little better position in 6 months, in theory. A lot of people out there are saying 4-year cycle's over, don't know what I'm talking about. Type it in the comments. I can go into more detail. But the point is, Bitcoin. If you bought Bitcoin as of January 1 this year, today it is worth almost $120,000. That is a 26% increase. For those of you that understand this, 8% is what the S&P has currently returned at the same time. Which one of these two numbers are bigger? Which one of these two numbers would you rather be in? Again, the U.S. government is buying into Bitcoin. Other governments are buying into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is no longer this fringe idea. If you do not have Bitcoin, you need to be investing in it. It is better than anything else out there right now other than probably gold and silver, because you can actually touch, hold, and cradle gold and silver. Yes, I did say cradle. If you have any questions, type them in the comments below. I can totally answer those. Again, an idiot can explain it to you. That's what I'm good at. I'm an idiot. I can relate to other idiots. That's what it is. Mouthy out.